Cole, I was just talking some mad smoke and really just loving that you freaking lost a client and then got another one like within a week. Like that's sick, dude.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
sick
a
for
bit of
you,
an
but sick.
yeah, it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster. Because the when I lost that first client, I was just like, where did I go wrong? Right? Like,
Yeah.
I thought I was doing the whole process, but I just came to realize that I wasn't qualifying the business owners nearly enough. So yeah,
Yeah. It's a learning curve, dude.
yeah,
This is what I'm so proud of you for, dude, is freaking losing a client and not like pouting so bad that it takes you 3 weeks to bounce back. The fact that you like got it within a week, it's like, it's awesome. Cause I remember when I lost a client, it literally like took the air out of me. I was like, dude, what am I doing
mm,
wrong? Like, it's my fault. Like, and sometimes I lost two before, like within a week or three, and you're like, dude. And a lot of the times it's like, it's just not the right fit, but like, it seems like the right fit at the right time at that time.
I know. Especially if you want it and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I feel it. I feel it's coming. All right. And maybe I haven't like had landed a deal in a while. It's like, oh, this guy's the one, right? He seems like he's gonna be good. But you just gotta ask him ask him qualifying questions. And it's so easy to go off the gut and like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be the one, he's gonna be doing it. But yeah, you just gotta filter him, man.
I love it, dude. Okay. Well, let's get into this, guys. You better get some questions going. I'm pretty Bruce, ask another question, dude. Oh, we got Pierce going. I love it. Okay, so where are you from, Cole?
I am from the greatest nation in the nation, Texas.
Okay.
So I'm quite
Love
happy
it.
to be from there.
Dude,
Yeah,
get your
from the
cowboy
Houston
hat on. If
area.
you're from Texas, you better own a cowboy hat.
I know. I try not to be, too charming with the Southern charm, so I
No,
try to
I
tone
get
it
it.
down a little bit.
I get it. Okay. If you're from Texas,
Yeah.
you lived there your whole life or what?
I grew up there, went to school there, and then I worked in Boston for a little bit. So I was in Boston for 4 years, and now I'm in Chicago wrapping up a grad degree. And then I'll be here for another couple of years, although they might ship me off to a developing country for part of the work. So we'll see if that happens.
So you do you're freaking not only did you lose a client and you got one, you literally are like in college still. Like you're still like getting a degree too.
Yep. Yeah. So
Okay,
it's
dude.
yeah, let's go.
And I see that protein powder in the background and hitting the gym, dude. And
Trying,
hitting the gym. I love it,
trying
dude.
to do the gains.
That's awesome. Okay. So what how long have you known about ranking rent?
Yeah, so I found out about it during the pandemic, probably towards the middle or end of it. I don't exactly remember. I don't remember the exact year, but I'm guessing it was 2020, 2021, somewhere in between there. So it's been a few years. Yeah.
Dude, that's funny. Every time I hear pandemic, I got to tell you the story. I was on my mission, my church mission, and
Okay.
I'm in that we call it like a member's house or whatever, just like someone from our church. We call it. So we go over to these members' houses. Sometimes we'll like give them like a spiritual thought. And we had this old lady. Her name, I won't even say her name, but it
Okay.
makes me laugh, dude. We go over to her house, and she's legally blind, and she's
Okay.
legal like deaf, like she can't hear. So
Blind enough.
we go
All
over to
right.
her house and we're chatting. Well, no, actually, we're over Zoom because this is the pandemic. So we're over the Zoom. So we're sitting there and there's three of us because like you have to go in pairs of two or three or whatever. So there's three of
Yeah.
us and we're chatting, like just talking. And for whatever reason, she said pandemic. So it wasn't pandemic. She's like, oh, that pandemic, and we lost it. We like when she literally said pandemic, and I like can't even like every time I hear that, I
Like,
just completely lose it.
yeah.
So
I think
sorry
it's
about
a
that. It was funny though.
no, it's a lot more
Um
of a more fun way to refer to it for sure.
oh, 100%. Well, she didn't even know. We were laughing and she didn't even know. So we felt bad. Okay, cool. So what was this deal? I know like rank and rent I feel like is a little bit harder than I think sometimes we put it out to be, which it is easy when you get it down, but like the first couple are a little bit trickier. But would you say it's
Mhm.
harder or easier than what you thought coming into this?
Hmm. Uh, Both. By which I mean going into it out, I Are you familiar with the concept of Mount Stupid?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, like the competence and the confidence graph, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was on Mount Stupid coming in, which for those of you who don't know, it's I forget what it's called, but like basically as a beginner, you're really overconfident. You're coming, oh, I'm gonna slay like 20 deals in the next 3 hours, right?
yeah,
Something stupid.
yeah,
And then as I started getting hit in the face, I was like, okay, this is harder than I thought. But now that I am starting to get the process down, it's starting to be back to where I thought it was in terms of ease.
yeah.
And it still work, but it's not terribly complicated once you start to work out the kinks.
Yeah. What's funny,
So yeah.
dude, is the reason I asked that is Mike. We had Mike on here. Heck, it's probably been a month or two, but Mike Durach, he hopped on, and I remember him. He started out with like 5 or 6 campaigns, and he's like, "Bro, I was smoked." He said, "I was losing leads. It was
Yeah.
too much." And then he literally slowed down to like 1 to 2, and he got a deal. You know what I'm saying? So like, almost, it's just funny because we all do it.
Yeah. Everyone jumps in hot. It's like, oh, I'm gonna absolutely kill it. And
Yeah.
takes a little learning curve, but as it does with all things. So
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so what niche was this? Was this deal in?
this was our official turf. Yeah.
Artificial turf. I love it. And you, how long has this site been running? Like how long has it been going?
No more than a month, maybe 2, 3 weeks, something like that. This was for Wilmington. Oh gosh, I don't remember if it's North or South Carolina,
Okay.
but the one of the Carolinas. And yeah, this site was producing hot from almost day one. And so the problem was finding the business owner, not the deal, not the leads coming in. So
Gotcha.
that
How
was
many
the that
leads?
was the challenge.
How many lead? Well, we want to focus on that because I think that's important. How many leads did you send in before you closed them?
Oh gosh, maybe I used to try to do like 4 to 5, but I started like doing once I hit the third lead, I would just call business owner and be like, hey, let's try to talk. So it
Mm,
was most likely 3. And then in between that time when I was like, hey, let's talk, and the actual time we talked, like more leads were coming in. So it's probably 4, 5, or 6 by the time we actually closed. But
Gotcha.
3 before starting to try to close.
Gotcha. I almost feel like it's better to do it less just because one, you don't waste your time, and two, it's like sometimes the business owner is like, why are you sending me so many leads? They're kind of like, this is suspicious, not like suspicious, but it kind of is weird. Like, why are you sending me 12 leads?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's cool. Um, was this the was this the same site that you lost your client in?
No, but I have good news on that one.
Let's
I
hear it.
have a closing call scheduled for that one next Tuesday or Wednesday. That one was for Amarillo, Texas.
I love it.
Also official turf. Yeah, that one I hopped on a call with a guy. He was hemming and hawing. He was like, I don't know. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. He was like, all right, I'll do it. And that was the guy I lost. But now I'm talking to a more established business, and I'm hoping to sell that one next Tuesday or Wednesday. So
So
yeah.
did you landed the deal, right? But then like, was this like a couple days later where he was like, bro, I just don't know about this anymore? Was he like kind of backpedaling on it? Was that his deal?
Yeah, dude, the guy's credit card and everything, charged him for the first week. And then he messaged me a few days later. I don't know what was going on. Maybe he wasn't sure he'd be able to close the leads or something. He's like, something in the air. And I'm like, the fuck does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Something
So
in the air.
yeah, I don't know. He was backpedaling, and I don't know what was going on in his mind, but he didn't want to do it. So
Gotcha. Well, that's okay. And I've actually had that. One thing that has helped me a little bit is contracts with that. Like I think if you can
yeah,
get them to sign that contract like within the hour of closing them, like
yes.
because normally I was like, oh, they gave me their credit card, they're solid. But like I've had people
Right?
literally block me after they given their credit card. So it's like they'll get away from you no matter what you do. And even if you have a contract, they'll still block you. Like you're gonna lose the deal. But like Nick always says, like it's always a mindset. Like if they sign it, they're like literally telling you, hey, like I'm bought in. So
Yeah,
future
yeah,
reference.
for sure. Well, that's what I did with the Wilmington guy.
Mhm.
Um, I was like, hey, that on the call, I was just like, I prepared the documents beforehand. I was like, look, it was the way I was talking about during the call, it was assumed that we would sign the contract then and there. And so the way I was talking about, I was like, of course we're going to do this.
Oh yeah.
In my mind, I'm going like, please just sign the goddamn contract. And it worked out. So I'm definitely doing that from now on, just getting the contracts ready and seeing if I can just close it then and there in the call.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
What was this? How many Zoom calls did it take to land this client in Wilmington or
I mean, it was just the one Zoom call with this client, but in terms of number of Zoom calls, like with other business owners I was on, I must have gone through maybe 2 for that city, but 5 to 7, I don't know, maybe 10 for other cities, right? Because I'm running ads for other ones. So
Yeah.
yeah. But Wilmington was the first one that I was after I lost the Amarillo job. I called the entire city. Anybody who had a landscaper in their Google Maps business or anybody who was our official turf, I just called them and asked them a bunch of questions. I was like, hey, how long you been in business? Hey, how many employees do you have? You know, all that stuff. And so this guy, thankfully, it wasn't more Zoom calls, but I think it was because I did just a whole bunch of filtering right at the start, which not everyone does, but I decided to try it out and it worked this time. So
Yeah. And like I said, you could even call a ton of people and you could ask them those questions and it could not work. That's the thing is like, I don't think there's a magic bullet, but it helps.
Yeah, it helps. It helps trim some of the fat in terms of like, okay, maybe instead of going through 10 business owners, I only need to go through 3 to 5. Right.
Exactly. No, it's so true. Um, how was this bit? What objections did you have with this deal? Was he like freaking ready for it, or was he like, dude, price? Like, what was the objection?
For him, I think it was just sort of a nominal last minute thing. Like he was like, oh, I want to make sure you have an LLC, but we sort of skimmed over that and that never really came up again. And then at the end, he was like, you sure you're gonna send me leads, right? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I've sent you like 4. There one came in while we were talking. Yes. Yeah. So for this specific business owner, he was in a spot where he's like, he's ready to grow. He wants the leads. He was looking for exactly what I was providing. And so in that way, it was a good matching, good timing, which is not going to be the case with everybody. So this guy didn't really have any huge objections. So
yeah, that's cool, dude. Dude, one of the questions that I've been asking people, and this is, I don't know if you ever want to use this, but I literally got on the call and I was just like kind of feeling it. And I was just like being confident, but I was like, I want to just ask this guy a little just different questions. So I was like, bro, I don't like, pardon me if this is like a little bit intrusive, but I was like, are you the type of guy that understands that like you have to spend money to make money? And I told him that, and he was like, yeah, oh, yeah, totally. And I was like, okay, I just want to make sure because like if you're not wanting to spend money to make money, then this isn't going to work. And I told him that, and he was like, no, bro, like I understand, like you got to spend money to make. And I was like, okay, good. Now you agree with me. Now you can't backpedal and say, yeah. And so it was just cool because I was like, man, he freaking was like all over that question. Like he was like wanting to back himself up. But all I wanted to know was, bro, if you're so cheap to pay for anything, like I'm not even gonna run the call. I don't want to freaking waste my time, an hour of my time sweating tacos if you're just gonna say I don't have money for it or I don't want to spend money on this. So
yeah. No, I like that one. I'll keep that one in mind. One thing I like to ask is if they have some kind of budget for marketing or advertising or referral fees. And sometimes I'll get a yes, a strong yes. I'm like, okay, this guy, he's probably about business. And then most of the time I'll get like, it depends. It depends. And then sometimes I'll get no. And I'm like, all right, not calling this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do like the idea of just being explicitly sort of diving into their mindset of if they're willing to spend money with you. I'll
Exactly.
keep that in mind.
Well, and I like even on my my prospecting calls, I would call them and I would just be like super bold and this is for everybody. Like I hope this helps everybody, but just like telling them, say, like, how much are you paying for any, like in prospecting, you should know they are paying for it, but like actually figure out how much they're paying for it. Like, and to help them understand you are not a home advisor or Angie's. Don't compare me to them. It's like comparing lemons to or like lemons to oranges. You know what I'm saying? Like they're two different things. and they need to understand and treat you as something different, because I've had people get on the call. I've told them I work with exclusively with one company, and they're like, "Wait, so you're not with Angie's?" I'm like, "No, I'm not with I told, but I should have like emphasized it, but I feel like the quicker they understand, like this is completely like this is like the actual name brand rather than great value. Like this is actually good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then they start to like treat you a little bit differently. You know.
Totally
So
agree.
that yeah, dude. I've had that. I literally got. I was so pissed. I was like, dude, I told you I'm not with Home Advisor. Like I'm with. This is my own thing, and he still was
Yeah.
like, I for some reason I just thought that you were with Home Advisor.
Yeah,
So
man. I found that the dislike for Home Advisor and Angie leads is so much that as soon as I'm like always on these prospecting calls, I'll get like, so who are you with? And I'm always like, well, I imagine you're asking if I'm with Angie Leads and Home Advisor. And they're like, yeah, that's what I'm asking. I'm like, no, I do this independently. You can almost hear a sigh of relief
yeah.
from the other person. It's like,
Oh,
oh, okay, all right.
I know. If they do like Home Advisor, they're freaking weird, or you don't want to work with them anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I have met very few people who actually make money with Home Advisor or Angie's Leads. It does happen,
Yeah.
right? It does happen, which is why they're still in business. But
Uh,
it's just so rare that I just don't run into it, you know?
yeah. No, I hardly get people that say they like it, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay, so I'll focus more like the deal was sick, but like the bounce back. What was your mindset? Literally losing the deal, because like I hate when business owners text me and like you just know it's like a problem. You're like,
it's over.
what is it now? I understand, like sometimes Home Advisor will call me to talk, like, and you answer the phone. Like I understand that it's a website, like crap comes through. So like
Yeah.
sometimes you have to just kind of tell them that. But like, what was your initial thought when he texted you and was like, "Pull, my man, what's
Uh,
going on? Like I just not feeling it. There's something in the air. I'm getting
yeah.
goosey about this." Like, what did you say to him?
I mean, I try to not like be super aggressive or mean about things. So I'm just like, yeah, cool. Do your thing. So as far as my response to him, that's the route I went.
Mhm.
Internally, it was like getting a breakup text from a girl, right? It's like, this isn't working out. And once you've gotten that text, like you're not walking back from that, right? So the best thing you can do is sort of exit with grace and then move
Did
on, right?
what was the object? Was it just like I'm just not feeling it, I can't afford it, or was he just like what was his objection?
Maybe I can pull up the actual text. I haven't,
Oh, I get this thing up. Let's get
yeah.
him on the call. Let's interview him.
Rob.
Rob, dude.
Yeah, the guy. He's got cool action. He's like, I'm Rob Weems. Looks like ZZ Top. Yeah.
I love it.
I am so I sent him a text because I sent him the contracts, right? So I'm like, hey, have you had a chance to look at the contracts? Any updates on that? And he goes, I'm thinking more on not doing this. There's something in the wind I can't explain. My gut says no. I apologize and wasting your time.
Oh my gosh.
Then I will get you percentage if I sell any of the leads you have given me. So yeah, so he was trying to, my impression was that he was trying to like back out in a way that he, could still hold himself honorably, but he just, I don't know why. That's literally the text he sent me. It was just a gut feeling for him and he wasn't feeling it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes that happens. If this is a different scenario, but here's like something that I've done, which actually has been really good for me. But I've had
Mhm.
clients where I made sure they signed the contract, because I've had people that haven't and bailed on me. But if you have the contract and they come to you and they're like, I don't know if this is going to work out, you don't want to work with them anyways. So what I like to say is, so and so business owner, I understand you don't want to work with me. That's totally fine. And if you don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with you. So you flat out kind of tell them that, like, I respect that. I don't want to, this needs to be mutual. But say you've signed a 3-month agreement, like least you can do is give me a month, or like say you're at month 2 and like you're like, well, at least give me, or at least give me a couple of weeks, like take the leads for a couple more weeks, gives me enough time to find a new replacement, a new business owner. That way you're getting paid while you're like, you kind of know you have to get out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it's like in a 2 weeks notice.
if yeah, it's like kind of like letting you know. And usually like if they sign a contract, most people, if they have decency, they'll like respect that. But dude, I've had people that completely just block me. Like I didn't know anything was wrong. Their card bounced, called them, it was blocked. I was like, dude, how does this happen? Why the contract didn't mean anything? I have their credit card, and come to find out, they report
Yeah.
it as stolen. Dude, it's
Yeah.
so stupid, dude. People are
Yeah.
freaking snakes, but yeah, that was
Happens.
just something that I've done and it's worked well.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, anything that's been different about this deal? Like what was probably the most satisfying part about this deal compared to the other ones, or maybe, or you know what I'm saying, or stuff that's happened?
I could tell it was on with this guy. Like he would respond, like he was on vacation and he was still responding in a
Wow.
timely manner now. And I was like, oh, I think this is happening. I think this is it, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
starting to get good signals. Like I don't know if you got the chance to see the closing call I posted, but he picks up. The man's in the Bahamas. Like
Oh
there's
my
blue water behind him. He's on like a boat. He's looking super cool in like his sunglasses. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this, man.
he sounded like a chill business owner, dude. He sounded awesome.
Yeah, no, so I guess the most satisfying and part I'm most excited about is having somebody who seems to get the program and wants exactly what I'm giving. So I feel a lot more secure and I feel like I'm not going to have to worry about this guy. Obviously, I'm still going to check in with him, make sure I get everything set up properly, but it's just the like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. Like, okay, it's probably fine. Like the leads are going to him. So yeah, just this lack of stress, lack of needing to actually think about like, oh, is this gonna keep going? I think I'm good with this guy. So that's what I'm excited about.
Bro, and honestly, the more I've been doing this, the more I'm realizing like the one thing I want to pass off to a VA or whatever is dealing with clients, like retaining, or like I hate, like they'll text me sometimes every other day and just be like, "Hey, this one was home advisor." I'm like, "Dude, I don't care. That's it's gonna happen." Like, but it's just so exhausting, and for some whatever reason, dude, just talking to him just stresses me out because I'm like, I don't want to know, like it's just scary because sometimes they'll just
I
drop.
get it. Yeah, yeah, that's
But
true.
gosh, dude, that's funny. What is your goal for the next like 3 months, and then what's your next goal for the next 6 months?
Yeah, 3 to 6 months. I am thinking that obviously I want to keep doing. I start out with 10 campaigns for artificial grass, and I cut some of them as I found out they weren't producing leads, and or as I found out there weren't any business owners left. So I think I've got maybe 4 running, not including the Wilmington one. So
Mhm.
I want to see if I can get something closed with those. And then I'm looking at for the next batch, I'm thinking retaining walls and
Mhm.
maybe tree removal. Long story short, I want to throw out another batch and see if I can get something rolling before the summer starts closing. And then during the fall and winter months, I want to experiment a little bit with like some winter stuff like heated driveways, heated floors, see if I can dabble a little bit in that. But
Uh-huh.
really what I want is get a bunch of sites up that I'm closing. So maybe like 5 to 7, which would put me at, I'm thinking 50K in terms of end of year, like for a year profit, which combined with the job that I'll be doing means I'll be like pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
And then start outsourcing, man. Like
Also,
you're talking about, like it would be because I still want to do academia stuff. Like that's just something separate from money that that's just a super long-term goal for me. And so I'd like to get this thing set up in a way that I can still do that
yeah.
and have some of the stuff that takes a little bit more time automated with a VA or with some code or whatever it is. Yeah, that's my next 3 to 6 months is get a bunch of websites up as much as I can, and then start looking at outsourcing.
I love it. What would you say a number goal would be? Like if 3 months, what do you want to be at?
3 months. I want to sell. I want to see if I can get maybe 3 sites per month for maybe the first 2 months, and then in that third month I'll probably be in the midst of my new job, and I'm not sure I'll be able to hit it as hard. Also, it'll be towards the end of the summer, so that might not be as good. So we're looking at maybe, let's call that 6 sites at an average of I'm going to say 1,200. So 6 times 1,200. So that's maybe 7,200 in revenue. And then obviously if I can get to 10K in that amount of time, then that'll be great. But I just don't know if I'll be able to with the job starting. So I mean, stretch goal is probably 10K in the next 3 months. And then realistically, I'm probably going to get in the maybe 6 to 7K. But if I see that I'm just like rolling, then maybe I'll just like put a few extra hours into it, see if I can get that 10K mark. So it's just such an arbitrary number, right? 10K, but it's like I want it, you know?
Oh, dude, yeah, it's so true. I think it's cool. I think 10K should be everybody's freaking goal. Like Nick always says, that's the start. And I like the more I think about it, I'm like, dude, without 10K, like even with 10K, you really can't. I mean, you can do you can live, but like you really can't live like crazy until like you're making 20 to 30. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's cool, and I think 20 or 10 is just a good goal overall. Let's answer a few of these questions real fast.
Sure.
And get into it real fast. Okay, so Bruce said, so do you have any tips for building a prospecting list? Lately, it seems hard to find more than 4 or 5 BOs paying for services.
Yeah. So I think that the advice usually given in the group is to only, or at least primarily, look at people who are paying for ads. What I've found is that if you're willing to put in the calls and you just call everybody, like who's on Google Maps, or like 40 to 50 business owners for a city, realistically, anyone who does whatever your niche is, you'll find people who maybe, like I found people who said they were paying for ads, but I didn't see them on the ads. So like you can still find people that way. And I have found a good number is around 2 to 3 business owners who meet all of the sort of prerequisites that you're looking at. So as far as building a prospecting list, if you can't find people who are paying for ads and you're willing to put in some legwork, I'd say just go nuclear with it and call everybody and see who comes out on the other side. Because you don't need a whole bunch of business owners. You just need you just need one, but you should have 2 to 3 in case one of them doesn't work out.
That's so true. And the better you get, I almost feel like I can get people to take my leads. Do I want them to take my leads? No. So like, exactly. I feel like it totally just depends. And this is going to answer Pierce's question too. He said, how many calls do you normally make for a site? He said, I already know I'm not making enough, but I'd like to set a daily target of how many calls to stay consistent. And I think that just trying to answer this question is, I think if you have a problem like socially, like I hate making calls, I think it's smart to say I got to call 5 business owners a day, like just for fun. Even if you say 2 business owners, like it, and over a couple of days, like you're going to knock out the list. But I've kind of come to the point where it's like, I'm not going to focus on the numbers. I got to focus on results. Like I got to find someone today. So I don't care if I call 15 or I just call 1. And I feel like if I focus more on the quality of my calls, I usually call maybe 2, and one of those seems really solid because I've like invested my energy of like asking good questions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like sometimes we focus on a lot of quantity, but quality is what really matters.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
But what about you? Like, did you set a goal for how many calls you should make a day, or were you just kind of like, whatever?
It was a bit of like, for me, I am relatively comfortable getting on the phone. So it was more a matter of like, all right, how many people I got to call today to find somebody, right? And if the answer is all of them, then like, yeah, but like let's set aside a couple hours and just crank through it. So I personally, I didn't set a goal for the number of business owners to call. I think if you're getting over getting on the phone, I think that's a fine idea. But the number of business owners you call isn't the metric that moves the needle. It's the number of business owners you find who are good fits.
Yeah. No, I agree. And this is kind of, this one goes with it, but Bruce said, Cole, what have you found to screen business owners?
Say again?
He just said, Cole, what are some things that you have learned from screening business owners?
I have learned that anybody will take your leads. So before screening business owners, I found that I was nervous about calling people with a lead in hand, and I found that business owners would, like, any old schmuck's going to be able to take a lead, right? It's like, hey, you want some free money? Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But as far as like what I've learned in the process of calling people, as opposed to just what did I learn from starting to call people,
Mm-hmm.
I found that I guess I found a few things. One is I found that on average, for me, I would find 2 to 3 business owners in the city I'd want to work with. I found that sometimes you'll find business owners that if you don't call the other business owners, you would think this business owner is a good fit.
Yeah.
But if you call a few more, you might find someone else that's a better fit. I found that business owners are a bit, some are skeptical. And there's the basic stuff about calling people too, right? Like if you're not used to having a thick skin, like you'll learn that some people are just gonna be skeptical no matter what you say, and it doesn't really matter. So I don't know if you were looking for something specific, Mr. Bruce, I think asked, but those are a few of the things that I've learned.
Yeah. No, I think you just learn to ask questions. I think you start like having objections on your closing calls, and then you'll start to realize I need to start asking such and such question.
Way before. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the more you do it, you'll just get better at it. Let's see. John said, "Is this about digital real estate?" Right? Yes, correct. And then Chris said, when you say site, are you referring to pre-build sites or one pagers? Cheers. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying one pagers. Like usually when we land deals, hopefully they're pre-sold. So like you haven't actually made it. It's a one pager and then go and build it later. But sometimes you'll have a built out site that maybe you lost a client and then you sell it again. So I mean,
Yep.
but I think we're referring to pre-sold, right?
Yep.
Chris said VA for partner retention is a must for your sanity. Yes, Chris, starting to realize that. Okay, Isaac said, I recommend doing a discovery call after passing the first lead. Make them sell you on why you should work with them. Yeah, I think that's a really good thought. What are your thoughts on that?
That was actually, someone recommended that to me at some point, and that was the other route I was considering going. That's what I would have tried if I didn't go the route of just calling everybody. But I think that's a super legit method. It's sort of like there are many ways to skin a cat.
Mhm.
What I picked was one way, and then I think calling somebody after you send them a lead. Honestly, even now, even though I'm calling everybody, that's still probably a good idea. Just like, hey, checking in. So I think
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
Yeah. I think overall, what I've learned about business owners, I think calling 2 to 3, I think just having them on the hook, say, and I tell them, say, hey, I usually call 2 to 3 business owners. I'm going to work
Mhm.
with all of you in the beginning. I'm going to send you each a couple. I want to find a good fit. You
Yeah.
tell them that
Yeah.
up front, and then that way it's like they know the leads may take a little bit longer. So it kind of gives you a cushion to say, hey, it may take a little bit of time to get some leads going, but at the same time, like I don't have to like, because as soon as you hook them, you almost feel like immediately you need to send leads. But if you kind of tell them that, then they're kind of like they're kind of like, okay, I'm on the back burner. I'm kind of waiting for my turn.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, and if they
That-
won't wait around with you that long, it's like, are they even a good fit? Like sometimes people won't even text you back after, the second call. And so you're just like, well, that one's gone. But
yeah.
sometimes I always put my eggs in one basket to begin with. And I have one business owner. I go literally from prospecting to the closing call. Doesn't work out. And then I'm like, well, crap, now I got to take 4 more days. I got to find a new business owner, send him more
Mhm.
leads, then send a screencast. So I just feel like if you kind of just do them in batches, I feel like you almost, it speeds up the process. You're able to land deals quicker rather than just over a long period of time, which a week is not that big a deal, but I'm just saying like it's nice to
But
get like deals and deals.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, like the shorter we can make the time, the better. I basically what you just said. So having multiple business owners on the hook, and then calling after you send the first lead for a live prospect for like a discovery call, and then the third method is what I'm currently doing, which is call all the business owners and pick the best ones. Those are the three suggestions that I have seen for trying to shorten the time and also qualify business owners. And, they all work to some degree. It's just sort of like pick your method or combine them or something. But yeah, there are various ways of going about it. I think what you've described is another fantastic way to do it.
Yeah, and like I said, I love the analogy. There's plenty of ways to skin a cat. Just do what works for you. So
what gets the deals coming in, right?
I know. So true. Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, Daniel said maybe I missed it, but call everyone with a lead, even with multiple BOs. I honestly wouldn't send the same lead to different BOs. I would you could send different leads to 3 different guys, but if you're getting that many leads, holy cow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But usually you'll get 1 lead and then 2 days later get another lead, just starting out. So you kind of want to just focus on one, but then if that one doesn't work out, you can go to the next one and go on, But or are you calling ahead of time? Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Any other little words of advice that you have for everybody? I just think it's sweet, dude. I love that you lost a deal because I feel like it's embarrassing sometimes, even for me. I hate posting and say, "Hey, I got a deal," and then saying I lost a deal. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'll one up you. I texted my friends and family, and I was like, guys, I landed this deal. It's so cool. It's so cool. And then I had to text all of them 2 days later. Yeah, so it didn't work out. Yeah, but as far as I don't know, general tips or advice, I've not climbed up all the way up the mountain. I am maybe a few steps ahead of some people. But what I have found in this and in other things in life that I've, also tried to climb the mountain on, it's like there's these, I don't know how to put it, but there's these checkpoints or these roadblocks, and almost everyone seems to go through them, right? So at the start, you're going to run into the ad suspensions, and everyone's like, this is terrible, pulling out my hair. And then at some point you realize due diligence and how important that is. And then, you've got maybe 5 to 10 ad campaigns running, you're just losing money. It's like, you're pulling your hair out. It's crazy. And you figure that out, right? And I think where I'm at right now is figuring out that, okay, you can send leads to business owners, but maybe they'll flake. And okay, now the barrier is finding good business owners. I'm sure there are barriers that I am still to run into. And perhaps just keeping that in mind would be my advice.
Yeah.
The barrier you're at right now is just one there's going to be more, and this is just part of the road. It's part of the process. Mm-hmm. That would be the advice that I would give to myself a few months ago, and also just to anybody who's looking at the process and who is inevitably going to run into these almost rites of passage that you go through. So that'd be my little 2 cents.
No, I love it, dude. And something I like to add, the other day I lost a few clients, and I messaged Nick and I was like, been kind of struggling, just lost a few deals. He's like, dude, been there, done that. And I'm like, okay, screw you, dude. I want some sympathy. But he was just like, oh, dude, that the longer you do it, it's going to happen, And so I don't know who's watching this or who's going to watch this and is probably like, I've lost a client. I don't want to get back going. I felt like it was kind of like a shot in the dark. I can't believe I even stuck it. Whatever. It's not your fault. I mean, doing the program and doing the free stuff. You're gonna find all these nuggets, but it's it's gonna happen no matter what you do. You can print out. You can literally do everything step by step, and sometimes you're not prepared for what someone says or how to respond to it. And so it's life. But I've just learned, dude, it's just how it goes. And I think the more that you can kind of take a step back take a step back and breathe and be like, dude, it's good. It's okay. It's just I'm learning. It's like school. I've literally only known about this even a year or however long. You got to cut yourself some slack. You're doing really well. So love it, dude. All right. I don't think we have any more questions. So thanks for being on the call, dude. If you guys have questions for Cole, reach out to him. He's a stud. But yeah, thanks for being on the call, and we'll see you next time.
All right. My pleasure. Thanks for talking.